Welcome to our 8th and final lesson together. So in this lesson we'll be going through augmented chords. They're kind of related to diminished chords. Actually they're the opposite. And we'll also go through a quick revision to make sure you've got everything under control when it comes to chords. I hope you enjoy the lesson. I'll see you soon. Welcome to lesson 8, our last lesson together. We're going to be doing augmented chords and then doing a quick revision to see how everything sounds when we put it together in both hands. So an augmented chord, let's have a go through the other chords first of all. So we have a major chord, we have a minor chord, we have a diminished chord, we also did a common 7th chord where we lowered the 7th note down, and we also had a diminished 7th chord where we played the diminished and we lowered the 7th again. So the augmented chord is kind of the opposite of the diminished chord. So here we go back to major. Instead of lowering notes like we did for all the other chords, we're going to raise the 5th note up. So from G, I'd like you to raise your G up to a G sharp. Welcome to C augmented. When we're looking at this on music, you'll see a capital C for C, as in the key note of the scale, and then capital A, little letter U, little letter G. So that stands for augmented, and that's what this means. Let's go through D major. And then to play D augmented, take your A and raise it up to A sharp. So it will sound like this, it will look like this. E major, E, G sharp, B. Raise your 5th finger up, a semitone. Now this is a bit weird, but it's actually the C. There you go. F major, raise your 5th finger up to the C sharp. G major, G, B, D, raise your 5th finger up to the D sharp. A major, A, C sharp, E. Again, this is another odd one. Raise your 5th finger a semitone up so that it sits on the F. There we go. B major, B, D sharp, F sharp. Now what we're going to do is raise the F sharp up a semitone. So we're going to slide from this key up to the G. So from here, slide it up. That's it. So as a quick revision, let's see. We've gone through our tonic chords. Let's say C major, that's our tonic chord. We've gone through the primary chords, which are based on the 4th, your subdominant, and your 5th, which is your dominant, and then your upper tonic, which is your C, E, G again. We've gone through secondary chords, which were your supertonic. We've gone through the median, which is the 3rd. We've gone through the submedian, which is your 6th. And we've gone through the leading note, which is the 7th. Now that you've gone through all of that information, you can now have a look at the 7th note, which is very special. And you'll see for yourself that in C major, or in any key really, the 7th of any chord is a diminished chord. Just by its own very nature, it is a diminished chord. Let's say I've got the B. We know B, D sharp, F sharp is your B major. That was your minor, I lowered the 3rd. To lower the 5th makes it a diminished chord. That's why you don't really hear 7th chords very much in popular music, because they don't really fit in with the tone of a piece, much like the diminished 7th. It takes a little bit more skill to make and work it so that it sounds good. Okay, so those were your secondary chords. We've gone through chord inversion, so you've got your root position. If I take off the bottom and put it on the top, it's now first inversion. If I take off that E and now put it on top, it's now second inversion. We know that to show inversions we use the letters B and C, and in the case of 4-note chords like the diminished 7ths and the dominant 7ths and the common 7ths, anything with a 7th really, we can also have a 3rd inversion. So let's say I'm in G major and my dominant 7th will look like this. To do a chord, we can break it up like that. So you can always have options with your chords, how to play them. Okay, next we've got diminished 7ths, which we've already gone through, common 7ths as well, where we lowered that top 7th note by a semitone, augmented chords and different chord patterns. To do an arpeggio is very simple. This is a broken chord. Let's say I wanted to do a 2-octave arpeggio on the piano. I take my 1st, 2nd, 3rd, take your thumb, pivot it under so that we reach the next C. Now it does take a lot of practice. do inversions. The goal for when you're doing an arpeggio like that, keep your fingers nice and high, always remember your posture, and flick your thumb over and under as quickly as you possibly can. Okay, let's see if we can play all of these kinds of chords hands together. So on your music, you're going to see a whole lot of notes. Don't be put off with them. I've also put down the abbreviations for them just above. So we've got the C major chord in both hands, C, E, and G. First inversion, E, G, C. Second inversion. And then to do a full chord, what I can do is include the upper tonic in both hands. You can see how big it sounds. Then we do the dominant chord, the subdominant chord, which is based on the F. That's your subdominant in root, subdominant first inversion, subdominant second inversion. Subdominant as a full chord, much nicer. Okay, here we go. Dominant chord this time. G, B, D. B, D, G as first inversion. Second inversion. And then as a full chord. To do a dominant seventh, I'm going to take G, B, D, F. There we go. First inversion, I have to move down for this. D, B, F, G, B, D, F, G. That's my first inversion. Second inversion. Next inversion. There we go. Dominant seventh in root, first, second, and third inversions. C minor. C minor root. C minor first inversion. C minor second inversion. C minor full. Now we go into the diminished chord, so from the C minor, diminish it. C diminished first inversion, C diminished second inversion, C diminished as a full chord. Now we've got the C7 chord, so C, E, G, lower that seventh to the B flat. First inversion. Inversion, and then third inversion. So we should have B flat, we should have a C, E, and a G. Doesn't sound very nice, but there you go. C diminished seventh, so from here, lower it, diminish it, add the seventh. That's C diminished seventh as a root chord. So go really slowly so you don't get confused and your hands don't get tangled up. Do D sharp, F sharp, A, C. That's your first inversion chord. Second inversion. Now add the E flat. Third inversion chord. And then you're back to your root position. And then C augmented. Raise your fifth up. C augmented as a root chord. C augmented as a first inversion. C augmented as a second inversion. And that's it. We just go back to our full chord. I think the hardest things to master would be the C diminished, the C sevenths, and the C diminished sevenths, purely because they incorporate the extra seventh, and when you are doing inversions you'll find that the notes are next to each other, which can get a little bit tricky and scary. Those were all the possible chord combinations for C. See if you can go through now and do all the rest. So go through the letters of D, E, F, G, A, B. Good luck. I hope you enjoyed your lesson and our time spent together. I'll see you soon. Bye. Well, that was our 8th and final lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed learning about chords. I hope that what you've learned is practical and that you can use it in your own musical adventures. Good luck, and I will see you hopefully sometime soon. Bye.